On this edition of No DQ&A video, I'm going to be talking about the championships in WWE. What can be done to make the title seem more important? Also, will The Rock or Brock Lesnar win the WWE title this year? I'm going to be talking about that and a whole lot more, so stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome once again to No DQ&A video, right here on youtube.com/NoDQCAW, and of course NoDQ.com. Let's get right down to your questions. Hey Aaron, what do you think WWE has to do to make the titles important and credible once again? As you know, at this point the titles don't mean much anymore. Alright, let's start right at the top with the WWE and World Heavyweight titles. I think that the WWE and World Champion should always be the guy that the company is pushing as the top star. I think if you have anyone other than the top star, it waters down the title a little bit. As far as CM Punk goes, I mean, they have been pushing him as the number 2 babyface next to John Cena, and CM Punk has really been WWE's breakout star the past year. So I've been fine for the most part with him being champion, and the other thing about the title reigns in general is that they should be extended. I don't think the title should be changing all the time, and WWE was having the title change hands on almost a monthly basis a year or two ago, and I definitely think they've done a good job keeping the title on CM Punk, and they've been pushing him hard for the most part, but we'll get to more on that in just a second here. Let's move on to the US and IC titles. I think that those titles should be they should be held by the person that the company is grooming to be the next big thing in WWE. So just like back in the early '90s, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, guys like that had the IC title, and Randy Savage had it before he won the world title. So I think that's how they should keep doing it with the IC and US titles. Like, I don't really think it should be on someone like Santino Marella, who's always going to be a mid-card comedy act. I just think that's a bad idea. And regarding the tag team titles, obviously putting the tag team champions on TV and having some tag teams might help. And when you have a big pay-per-view, having a tag team title match on every pay-per-view, just basic stuff right here that WWE doesn't do. And we'll get talk more about the titles in just a second here. Where would you rank John Cena in the top 100 greatest wrestlers of all time? Well, it really depends on what you mean by wrestlers. Do you mean a guy who goes out there and does a lot of moves and is a flashy wrestler, or somebody who's a great worker, or somebody who has a great look, or somebody who's a great draw? I mean, what exactly do you mean? In terms of drawing power, I mean, John Cena would be right up there at the top. In terms of being a worker, I mean, the guy works really hard. He goes out there and busts his ass, gives it his best effort every night. So if you're going by that, he would be definitely at the top of the greatest wrestlers of all time. So I think it really depends on what your criteria is. But I think in most cases, John Cena would be towards the top, no doubt about it. Hey Aaron, why do you think the WWE title has become such an afterthought? The title match opened on Raw. Jericho in his promo didn't even mention wanting the title. And number 3, Lesnar and Cena have a contract signing, but the title match doesn't. The WWE title, it's not really an afterthought, but it's not the top program in WWE right now. And this goes back to the earlier question. In my personal opinion, I think that the WWE title should be around the guy that is the focal point of the company. And obviously, CM Punk is not the focal point of the company right now. He's the number 2 babyface on Raw and arguably in the company, but he's not the guy right now. And in my opinion, at some point, if they're going to keep pushing John Cena, they're going to keep pushing Brock Lesnar, one of those guys should have the title. What do you think about WWE using UFC-style promos with Brock Lesnar? I think it's awesome. I like this storyline a lot with Brock Lesnar doing a UFC-style promo and saying he just wants to go in there and kick John Cena's ass. It's very basic stuff, but I think it's very effective. and people want to see two big, giant, larger-than-life guys go in the ring and just beat the crap out of each other. Doesn't matter if it's fake or real or not. They just want to see a fight. And WWE is usually good at hyping up fights. And I think that that this show should do really well for WWE. It should do better than the usual B show, at least, hopefully. I mean, they're spending a lot of money on Brock Lesnar, and they really need his appearances to pay off. So hopefully this does well, and I could say personally, I'm really looking forward to Extreme Rules. And if you asked me about Extreme Rules before WrestleMania, I would have told you, whatever, just another pay-per-view. But this one should be a really big deal. It's going to be in Chicago, so you're guaranteed a hot crowd, and I really like the build-up for Cena and Lesnar. So we'll see how things go with that. As of right now, who do you think is the face of TNA right now? Well, the guy that's been the focal point over the last several months has been Bobby Roode. Now, I have to say I don't really think TNA has done a tremendous job in marketing him as the face of the company, but he is the guy that they've put the most stock behind, and I think Roode has done a great job. I don't think TNA has done a great job, but I think Roode has done as much as you could possibly ask from him. And in a way, I'm glad that he kept the title, because I think his character has been doing well as the world champion, and I think that he could continue to be a big factor in TNA, as much of being a big factor can be in TNA. But I mean, I think his promos are really good, and his matches have been good. He hasn't really had, I don't think he's really had a career-defining match yet since being world champion, and definitely that lockdown match wasn't it. So hopefully he'll continue to go in there and have great matches. I'd love to see maybe a face turn from Kurt Angle and do Kurt Angle versus Bobby Roode, because I think that could really be the career-defining match that I think Bobby Roode needs at this point. Something like that, or maybe even with Jeff Hardy. But hopefully things continue to work out well for Bobby Roode, because like I've said before, I think he's one of the best talents in TNA, period. Hey Aaron, what do you think about SummerSlam 2005? Personally, I thought it was great as far as match quality. Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero was awesome. Batista versus JBL was brutal. John Cena versus Chris Jericho was pretty good, and Hogan versus Michaels was great considering Hogan's age. Yeah, I thought SummerSlam 2005 was one of the better SummerSlams by WWE. Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero in the ladder match was really good. Batista versus JBL was brutal. I don't know if it was brutal in a good way or not. I don't even remember that match, to be honest with you. John Cena versus Chris Jericho was a great match. The crowd, I remember being really into that with the dual chants. Just great stuff right there. And Hogan versus Michaels, I mean, it was kind of funny seeing Michaels oversell for Hogan and all that, but it was very entertaining, and the build for that match was just fantastic. I loved that heel run from Shawn Michaels, and I was so sad when it ended. I mean, he came out there in Montreal, and he was just so awesome. I absolutely loved it. And when he did the Larry King skit where he was dressed up as Hogan, Shawn Michaels was just absolutely brilliant, and during that whole thing. And even in the match, I mean, he was just bumping like crazy and overselling for Hogan. But like I said, very entertaining stuff. Very memorable SummerSlam. With Rock and Brock both signing similar contracts term-wise, do you think we will see both of them holding the belt at some point in time? And if so, do you see one of them officially stepping away after WrestleMania 29 as champion? I think there's actually a good possibility that both guys will hold the title at some point. Like I said, going back to the earlier questions, I think you should put the WWE title around the waist of the person who you're promoting as the top guy. And if Brock Lesnar is going to be around to WrestleMania, why not put it on him, like, say, at SummerSlam? Have him beat CM Punk and have Brock go into WrestleMania. If the rumors are true and they're going to do Brock versus Rock 2 at WrestleMania, that would be a great way to do it. Have Brock win the title and defend it against Rock at WrestleMania and have Rock win it. Or do some sort of other match where you have Rock either challenging for the title or going into WrestleMania as champion. But either way, I think it's quite possible we'll see the title around both guys' waists at some point. All right, that'll wrap things up for today's edition of No DQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Make sure you subscribe. YouTube.com/NoDQCAW. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the very latest. We've got a lot of news up right now about Extreme Rules, so make sure you check that out. And we'll see you next time.